So I will have a quick talk about how you can keep your developer CV up to date. You know me. You went to the APISIX website. Who didn't go yet? You're afraid, huh? Some of you are liars, I know it. Anyway, so you are a developer or somebody who is related to tech in general, and you are a junior. Yeah, you are not a junior anymore, but imagine you were a junior at some point. You are a junior, you are young. Not anymore, come on. You are a junior? No, who is junior here? Okay. You could be a junior. And you don't want to become a manager. You want to stay in tech, which was my problem for a long time. So how do you build up your resume? So first thing first, I believe that we can divide the market in several axes. That's based on my experience. I lost it again. Yes. So local, global, or support, like IT is just a support function of the business, and like IT, software is the core business. I believe that for young engineers who really like developing and stuff, this is the quadrant that we should aim for, because local, well, they don't have that much money in general. You are very limited. Whereas if you target the global market, then you will find companies with a lot more money. And well, if you are just a support function of some other trivial stuff, then it's not that super interesting. When the business actually is developing software, you are core, and that's a much more valued position. So I have an assumption here. Why do you use your phone and not your camera? I don't know. I'm asking. So it's an assumption, and we can debate it. I'm not sure, but nowadays a lot of people are saying that GitHub is your resume, much better, that you look like a professional. Like this just makes me a professional. The clicker. I could have like regular clicker, which I used a lot when I was young. It doesn't work. Oh yeah, it works. But how do I? Yeah, this is for juniors. This is for pros. Okay, that being said, you can use GitHub to actually show off your skills. Because the market, the quadrant I showed you before, the people are looking on GitHub. They are not local company. They will look on the thing that everybody has or everybody should have is your GitHub repo. The problem is this. It could happen that, yeah, it's not funny, because your looks like this. So listen to the talk. It could be useful. So you don't have any GitHub activities, and there can be actually very valid reasons for that. For example, you are working on a private repo. No GitHub activities. Your project is not open source. Yeah, same crap. No GitHub activities. You are not on GitHub. That's a fail. You can use GitLab, but please duplicate everything to GitHub. You have a social life. Who here has a social life? That's why your GitHub repository looks like this. Huh? So there can be multiple valid reasons why your GitHub activities is not that well developed. So a couple of years ago, this was my GitHub activity. Like I had nearly 80 contributions in private repo, completely useless to any recruiter. But I believe that you still have stuff to show. For example, you might be blogging. Blogs are always nice. Why are you laughing? Because you are blogging? No? It's opposite of social. Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm a geek, so. You can do talks like me. You can show off your talks. Or you are a designer, a photographer, so you can have a portfolio. Or Instagram, or Stack Overflow, or I don't know where you are, but you are probably producing some content that you want to show off. And why not you use your GitHub? Because if you have been using GitHub, you know that there is a magic repo. Who knows about this magic repo? Okay, you are in the right talk. There is this magic repo, and this is /your name again. And here, you can actually tweak the default profile that you show to people. So here are a couple of examples that I have seen. So the guy is just displaying his CV, regular CV, but on GitHub. Okay, that's beginning. That's like junior level, but it's still something. Or you can have like a little more and like showing your pronouns if you want this, or like additional, like let's say introduction. You can also show off your coding skills by having a little widget with additional social media. You can go the full badge stuff. And if you like badges, hey, I will show off all my badges. The best I found so far is actually like is showing off. There is a chess game in his GitHub profile. And you move the pieces by actually sending pull requests. That's very, very geeky. And actually, it works because I'm talking about it. So I don't know Tim Bergen, I've never heard of him, but I thought, wow, that's really cool, right? If you are interested in inspiration, because here is only a few samples, you have this awesome GitHub profile, which lists a lot and lots of different GitHub profiles. So as I mentioned, I'm not a developer advocate. I don't code so much, but I want to show off anyway, because I don't know, perhaps there are employers here. Like, I kid you not, Nazari recruited me 5 years ago, 6 years ago? 6 years ago, here in Lviv. After a conference, we were having a drink, and I said, oh, I'm looking for a job. And he said, oh, I'm looking for a developer advocate. Okay. So if you want to recruit me, always possible. I'm just super expensive. Anyway, what can I show off? I told you I don't code that much anymore, but I write blog posts, one every week. One every week. So in 1 year, I have written 50 blog posts because I take like 2 weeks off during the winter holiday. My conference talks, because I do a lot of conference talks. And my latest YouTube video, because I like people show me, like to show people that how I move like here. So how can I do it? Well, we live in a world of APIs, so all the data is available through APIs. YouTube, no worries, you have a YouTube API. I host my blog on GitLab, so that's not an issue. I can like query, and I have an RSS for my blog posts. So I started with Kotlin scripting because I told you this morning that I love Kotlin. And I switched it. Now I'm using Python. If you're interested about the reason, I wrote about it. But basically, I had issues updating the dependency versions in Kotlin scripting. Now I found a way. There was a mix of actually the changes and the dependency changes, so the changes in the content and the changes in the tech stack. So I wanted to separate to 2 different repositories, and I started from scratch. And now also I run the runner I will go to it later. So basically that's like high-level engineering. You do the checkout of the repo. You install the dependencies. You execute the script where you fetch the data. And then you have a template and you fill in the blanks. And that's super senior stuff, right? And then you commit and push. So if you're interested about how it looks like, I'm not a designer, but at least for recruiters, it could be interesting. And this is updated every day because there is a GitHub Actions underneath. Look, I even have a little like admonition to say, hey, this is automatically generated, and check the code. And the code is here. So I have a GitHub action. And the GitHub action is exactly what I showed you. It's a bit small. It's better. Check out repo. Oh, amazing. Check out the profile repo. Again, I want to have two different repos, one for the content and one for the infrastructure. Install the dependency, update the README, commit the README, and push. Wow. 30 lines of code. If you are lazy, you just copy-paste it and you adapt it to your own stuff. And it's done. The Python, if you don't like Python, you like Python. But I mean, I don't like Python, but it works. So it's quite easy. You have 3 classes, and the main one is this one. I get like all the secrets, and I call the different stuff, and then it's done. So that was pretty good. Blah, blah, blah. Follow me on GitHub, and whenever. Questions?
I can tell you're a Java engineer.
Why?
In your Python, you have to type in bound to a variable.
Of course. I love types. I don't like Python, but at least I can make it less painful with types. You don't love types?
I do. I am a Java engineer, actually.
Okay.
It's restricted.
Yeah. Yeah?
So with the last point you showed, so you are offering us to create a script, generate code, and simulate GitHub activity?
No, I was just offering you the way to create your profile in an easy way if you don't have anything to show to recruiters. Oh, I show you how you can recruit me, but that's different. Yes?
So basically, with this approach, you can kind of auto-generate a page based on your talks.
Of course.
Public code.
Yes.
Et cetera, right?
Yes. Yes.
So it's the main point. Like, so to keep it in always one place, so that recruiters and other specialists can see it.
Yeah. And the idea is that you don't need to update it manually every time you've got a new position. You could like query that from your LinkedIn. If your LinkedIn is your source of truth, you could pull regularly from LinkedIn. I have a new position and I update it.
I mean, there are different data sources. Everything is API now, so you can, if you're active on Stack Overflow, I think you can use their API to pull your answers.
And guess what? I mentioned it. So if you are a huge Stack Overflow contributor, which I'm not, here, Stack Overflow. Again, you are on Instagram, then you can use it to show off that you are. It depends. Of course, if you are a pure Instagrammer, you don't know anything about codes, stay on Instagram because nobody will look on GitHub for you, and if they do, then probably they are not the right recruiter. But anyway, yeah. Yeah, you are tired. So thanks a lot. You are the last